Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday and welcome on my Saturday night live. My name is Dr. Nebila Dhieb and I am super delighted to have you all. I can't wait to introduce you to my guest, Miss Sarah Dawkins. But before, let me bring her on the call very quickly. There you are. Hey, Sarah. Hello. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, and I am going to introduce you to Sarah before we can straight away dive deep into this discussion. I am absolutely sure this is going to be awesome, and you are going to understand why just by introducing Miss Sarah. My guest tonight is holistic health and healing coach, keynote speaker, the author of Heal Yourself. You can see the book in all languages, in the background, and then multi-award winning entrepreneur and previously a registered nurse for 20 years. Now, how awesome is that? Listen to this. After naturally self-healing a multitude of health issues, Sarah now understand what it is like to be sick and uh, to heal oneself. She uses the knowledge gained through her own personal healing journey, as well as her expertise and her experience as a nurse and as a practicing using her holistic approach in her work. Well, Sarah and I tonight are going to dive deep into what is possible for ourselves when we take control of our body and our mind. Sarah, once again, welcome to my show. I'm super delighted. Why don't we start by what can you add to this? Introduce yourself to my tribe.
Well, hello, Nebila, and thank you, and hello, everybody. I don't know that there's much else I can add to that other than I live up in the mountains in a tiny village in Spain with my husband and our dog and a rabbit. And we just live a very simple life. And I don't know that I can add any more.
Amazing. Already we have a lot of people joining us here live. Thank you, everyone. Rahul is saying, let's go. Lena is saying hi. Sarah, what else do we have in here? So, yes, good evening, everyone. Mohammed Ibrahim has joined us. Abd Bara is sending a bunch of flowers and thumbs up.
Oh, beautiful.
Super delighted to have you all in here. Now, Sarah, you went yourself through a healing process. And do you mind, first of all, telling us a little bit about that?
Of course. So my healing really started 11 years ago when I went through a suicidal depression. And at the same time, I had an underactive thyroid. I'd burnt out my adrenal glands. I had eczema, psoriasis, acid reflux. And I was just a mess, basically. And the doctor wanted to put me on tablets, and I didn't want to go on tablets. I'd done tablets for depression previously. I'd taken tablets for acid reflux previously, and it wasn't somewhere I wanted to go. So I walked out of the doctor's office saying, well, I'm going to heal this. I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to take tablets, but I have no idea at all what I'm going to do. And it was because we had dogs that I had to get out and walk the dogs every day. And I think it was that exercise and having to go outside to walk the dogs that actually I started to feel a little bit better slowly. A friend started taking me to the gym, so I was getting more exercise. And slowly my days weren't quite so dark. So I looked at what can I do to help myself more. And I started noticing my surroundings, the trees, the sky, the flowers. And looking back now, I became mindful, but at the time I had no idea what I was doing. So I started paying more attention to the outside of me rather than being inside of me. And then I started just being thankful. And again, looking back now, it's gratitude, just practicing the act of gratitude. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for this good cup of coffee. Just the really little things. And as we express gratitude, we actually program our brain to look for more things to express gratitude for. So just those two little things in themselves really help to lift my mood. Once I'd started feeling better in myself, I then started taking more care of myself and started eating better. So I was eating more fruit, more vegetables, doing a bit more exercise. And again, I started to feel better again. And then I thought, well, what else can I do? So I started looking into meditation. And when I first started, I tried just to sit on a chair, quiet and still my mind, but that just didn't work. There was just this noise in my head all the time. So I started looking for guided meditations on YouTube so that I could just listen to the guided meditation and make the pictures, which actually stilled my mind. And then as I started to just find peace for that meditation, I thought, well, if I can have peace now, could I possibly have peace in my future? So I started looking further into the future. And that's when I thought, well, what else can I do? Because I'm starting to feel a whole lot better. So I started looking at becoming an entrepreneur, but not just any old entrepreneur. I wanted to be a successful entrepreneur. So I found meditations for those. And all the while, slowly but surely, I'm feeling so much better in myself that I actually left my job and the toxic situation I was in, became an entrepreneur and became a successful entrepreneur. And in doing everything I did, the meditations, the gratitude, the mindfulness, improving the food that I ate, taking exercise, I healed my thyroid. And over a couple of years, I also healed my adrenal glands because my blood pressure came back up to normal because it'd been so low as I'd burnt out my adrenal glands. The acid reflux went away. The eczema and psoriasis went away. So in healing one thing, by looking at the way I saw the world differently, and the food that I started to intake and the exercise outwardly, the whole everything holistically, I started to heal.
This is so good. Oh my God, this resonates so much. Harv Eker says the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So, see, in starting that one piece, it's the domino effect because one thing would bring the other. We cannot be, healthy in the way, for example, we practice grounding because that was actually what was going on when you were going in nature. And this is very interesting because I myself just moved to another place here in Saudi and I live by the beach. So I'm enjoying every day, although it's very hot, to go to the beach and then take off my shoes and my socks and then walk. And you have absolutely no idea. Yesterday I spent 30 minutes doing that, and it was so amazing. So, for anybody, if you have a chance to contact, to have that contact with nature, either grass or the beach, either sand or anything, just wherever you can. It's very, and that piece, of course, brought you to eating healthy and so on and so forth. This is so good. Now, but to go back, Sarah, to sometimes we hit rock bottom, and we have to hit rock bottom in order to spring back to life. And a lot of us do that. We don't see ourselves spiraling down. We say, yeah, I can take it. I can take it. Just a little bit more. I can take it. I can do this. I can do this. And a lot of amazing women who are watching us now just say that I can take it a little bit more. Tell us, how did you get there in the first place? Like, what was it that, kind of we sort of allowed in our life to bit by bit end up there? Was it the stress in the everyday life? Was it the work? Was it drowning in the million things we have to do? Tell us.
I think it was a bit of everything. I was in a toxic situation at work, which wasn't getting any better. And the people that I believed that were my friends didn't reach out to me, which compounded the fact that, well, maybe I don't have any friends if they don't want to know me. And on top of that, I'd stopped eating properly. So I wasn't helping myself with not eating. And I'd actually started drinking a lot of alcohol as a coping mechanism. So all of that, and I just spiraled down and down and down. And I knew I was depressed. But when I started first feeling suicidal, and I had this little voice in my head, you're no good, you're not worthy, you don't belong here, you just need to take yourself away and free your husband and your children. And that was shocking, because I'd had postnatal depression with my son, so I understood depression, but I'd never been suicidal. So when I started having those thoughts, I was really shocked that I could have got myself into that stage, because I didn't see myself. I saw myself as this gregarious, outgoing, lively, friendly person. And to go from that to in a really, really dark place, thinking about the different ways to commit suicide, it was really shocking.
Right. Well, hopefully you're going to tell us, like, what was the tipping point, just for everybody to see and keep an eye on those signals, God forbid. But meanwhile, you have wow, this is outstanding. Somebody is saying hello and salams from Florida. We have here Muhammad Ibrahim saying hello, everyone, and Ziba is from Florida. You have Abdul Barahi sending a whole bunch of flowers
Wow. Oh, thank you.
you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Shamila Nazim is saying, looking forward to having this session. Dhikrayat is saying, hello, doctor. Lina Lahia says, hello. Shahana Khan, hello, Shahana. Hey, now, what, like in a Sarah, in a fast-paced world, and today all of us, we are all in this together. And women in particular find themselves in those places where they have to do a million things, the old traditional roles, plus in addition, the roles connected with their ambitions and their dreams and their professional aspirations and the needs of the family, the relationship, the everything, the in-laws and everything. So we come close to having low energy. Tell me about the energy drinks and their the burnout, anxiety and depression. And these have become kind of very common. um, Now, what causes depression? What is, so it's a combination of all of this. Tell us a little bit about depression in particular. How does it kind of makes itself, yeah,
Manifest.
manifest itself, yeah.
It comes from a sense of worthlessness and hopelessness. Everything piles on top of us, and we get burnout, and we stop coping, because we tend to not reach out to people. We think, well, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And all this work, the job, the house, the family, that everything piles on top of us. And suddenly we think, well, actually, I can't do this. I'm worthless. There's other women doing it, and why can't I? And we feel really bad about ourselves. And those are the first signs that we're feeling a bit burnt out, a bit overwhelmed. To start reaching out, asking for help, reaching out to friends, to family for help, or just even support or an ear. Because when people become depressed, what they don't do is reach out. So if we can recognize that overwhelm and the low mood and the starting, we need to take control and we need to reach out, because the only way is for us to do it. And I pushed out of my depression through stepping outside my comfort zone, it terrified me, and I had to reach out to people, and I didn't want to reach out. I wanted to stay in a dark hole. But we need to reach out to people, and it feels incredibly difficult, and we need to
So,
step out of that comfort zone.
So the comfort zone, like in this particular case, it's really I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. I mean, I can do it, and then feeling that you have to do it by yourself. You have to do it by yourself. You have to do it on your own. You can handle more. It's taking in more than what you can handle, in a way,
Yeah.
right? So please, everyone, hey Ishrat, hey Ziba, hey Mohammed, hey everyone. Shahana, agree with you, Sarah. Depression is a silent killer. Yes, yes, yes. This is Shahana who said this. I can see. Right, that's Shahana. Yes, stepping out of the comfort zone is scary first, but if we choose to step up, we can do it. We can do it. Yes, of course we can do it. So number one, and I'll ask everybody. This is something we do when we are live. Is that we type up and we share notes, so as the people who catch this replay, they find notes on what's going on. So continue to take notes, everyone. Thank you very much. So the first idea that Sarah mentioned is that we need to reach out when you start feeling like any of these, symptoms, like, I'm not worthy, this is too hard, and so on. Is just reach out. Just don't go in, but go out, and reach out to somebody. Even the impossible, we can do it if we step out of the comfort zone. I totally agree. Absolutely. Abdul Baras saying, thank you, Sarah and Nabila. Another bunch of flowers. Thank you so much, sir. And yeah. Okay, Sarah. Um, Now, so you open TV today, and it's prescription drugs are everywhere, to combat, so to speak, depression, anxiety, or any other emotional or mental illnesses, with drug ads and everything.
Yeah.
Now, are pharmaceuticals helpful in these cases? Because a lot are saying, you know what, it's half a pill here, it's half a pill there, I can get through this. How about the pharmaceuticals, Sarah?
And they're easy, because when you take a pharmaceutical, you don't need to change anything. The pill will mask your symptoms. And that's all they do. They mask the symptoms. And I was speaking to a lady yesterday who is very happy on antidepressants. And when we talked about natural self-healing, she actually burst into tears and said, I can't get off them. They're my crutch. I understand that. I can't get off them. And people can become dependent and reliant on them because they are a crutch. But the thing with antidepressants is they can cause suicidal thoughts. So they actually exacerbate when we're trying to heal ourselves. Now, antidepressants do work for some people, but they don't work for everybody. And they can cause emotional problems as well. So if you recognize that you're feeling the low mood and you're feeling starting to want to retract and go into yourself, step out, go outside, just take a walk in the fresh air and reach out to a friend, have a chat with a friend, reach out for support. It is always up to us to reach out. People will reach in occasionally, but not as often as you think, because they think you're okay, because we put on this face that I'm a strong, independent woman and I can do whatever I want, but actually inside I'm dying. So we need to step out, we need to reach out, we need to ask for help, because only we can do that. And if you can manage to do that and step outside of your comfort zone, as difficult as it seems and challenging as it seems, you'll really help yourself such a lot.
It's interesting when we talk about go out of the comfort zone. And out of the comfort zone, this is really about going out of the house and breathing. And it's going out of the house and off the asphalt and take off your shoes and walk barefoot. And it's about leaving the workplace and having a walk with a dog and hug with a dog or with a cat or feeding the birds or feeding the pigeons, or in my case it's feeding the pigeons because I have a little balcony in here and I can feed the pigeons. So I decided this morning too, I was feeding them and I was looking at them. I was giving them bits of bananas and what, and I was looking at them and I was taking pleasure of that. So this is where kind of this modern word has led us, is that now what used to be so natural, so easy, so within reach, it's so simple, it bogs down the mind. You say that easy, just going for a walk, taking off your shoes and walking that. And we I was actually on Gaia and watching some documentaries about grounding and the importance of grounding, that we take off our shoes and take off our socks and walk on the ground and walk and be in contact with earth, with Mother Earth. And it's astounding, it's so amazing. So I took hold me accountable that every day I will take those 30 minutes to go to this nearby beach and walk barefoot on that little strip of beach I have close to my
Fabulous.
home. And oh my God, it's doing absolutely. It's been like a week and a half I've been here doing this, and it's been absolutely amazing. I'm calmer. I'm kind of. I feel like I'm floating. Last night it was sunset, and we went in there. It was still daylight, and then we saw the sunset, and oh my God, it was absolutely amazing. And so the comfort zone is actually what is so natural and so normal for us human beings, is that we live closer to nature, isn't it?
Absolutely,
So
but we when we shut down, we don't want to go outside, and that's what I mean. You need to push outside. Your comfort zone is to stay indoors because you don't feel very good. But actually, if you push those boundaries and start stepping out, and because we had dogs, I had to take them for a walk. But at first, I'd do it with my head down because I didn't want to see anybody, speak to anybody. I didn't feel ready, but I had to take the dogs for a walk. So it's about recognizing how you feel, accepting how you feel, but then working with it and doing whatever you can. And for some people, they fear a judgment. So, like you've been feeding the pigeons, you could talk to the pigeons or talk to your animals because they're not going to judge you. So, you could just have conversations with them, which in itself will help to lighten your load.
this is so good. Now, Sarah, and we're coming to how we can heal our body, in actual terms, and then we are going to take some tips from your holistic approach into this. But if the body is a function of the mind, and the mind meaning our thoughts and our emotions, then why is it that 95%, let's talk just about Americans, 95% of Americans, and in fact, it's a number that also applies to overall across the board, 95% of people are not living the life they want to live. So, like, what can people do to help themselves? Like, we want to control what's going on in our body. Your area of expertise, it's the anxiety, the depression, the burnout, the low energy. You have people waking up from a 9-hour sleep and they say, oh, I'm low on energy. They're just starting their day, and they say I'm
Yeah.
low, on energy, and this is real. So take us to a place where, in order to heal the body, there is also some work that needs to be done at the mental level and at the emotional level. Like, we cannot just doing things to our body without starting to change, our thoughts and how we feel about things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It starts in the mind and it manifests in the body. And that's not to say that if we have pain in the body, it's psychosomatic. We just think we've got pain. It really is there. It's a physical pain. And we kind of manifested that from our mind. But it is a real physical symptom. It's not just made up, it is truly there. So it's about understanding that our mind controls our body. So whatever we're manifesting in our body, unless there's been a trauma, it's coming from our mind. Because as Gabor Mate says, our body speaks our mind. So we need to look at our symptoms and to understand them. What are the symptoms telling us? And one of the things depression tells us is that we need to take a rest, depression, deep rest. We need to have a rest, and rest our body and rest our mind. So what symptoms are you manifesting, and what are those symptoms saying? But remember as well that because it comes from our mind, we get to choose what thoughts we want. And that sounds a bit too simplistic, but do you choose, do I want to have a low mood, or do I want to feel better? And we all want to feel better. So put the TV on and watch a comedy, because that will help you to smile, maybe laugh. And when we laugh, we release endorphins, which makes us feel good. So it's about little ways of finding what we can do to lift our mood. And like you've been out on the beach and I went out in the green space, just getting some outside time, doing a bit of exercise, eating well will help us nourish our body as well. So there's lots of little things that we can do to help ourselves before we go and reach for pharmaceuticals.
Absolutely, absolutely. And isn't it true that, when we are, or when those states, happen where we are spiraling into, anxiety and depression and everything, there's a tendency to shrink inside and stay inside and prefer the darker places and hide in bed and avoid daylight, and all of these go hand in hand, so to speak,
Yes,
right?
yes, very much so. Yes,
So
and that's
these
why,
steps.
yeah,
Mhm.
we have to step outside of that and recognize that. Yes, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to eat good food. I don't want to do anything. Just leave me alone. But we need to recognize that and push those boundaries and say, okay, I don't want to go outside, but I know I'll feel better for it. So I'll go outside. And when I went to the gym, my friend took me. She literally came to my door, picked me up, took me to the gym. We did 2 classes back to back, and she dropped me at my door. And every week I'm like, I don't want to. I really don't want to. And she would arrive, and I'm like, well, I suppose I better go because she's come to pick me up. And I did feel better after it. But when you're in that downward spiral into depression, it's like, I just don't want to. Just leave me alone. But we have to recognize that, because we are the ones that will help ourselves. We are the ones that can do it. Nobody can do it for us. And it starts with baby steps. And it's like, what's the smallest thing that you can do to step outside that comfort zone? Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's part of the healing process.
This is so good. Two takeaways from this. One is those thoughts and that voice in your head, that's not you. Those are thoughts that have somehow landed in your subconscious mind that are now controlling the way you act, the way you behave, the way you do things and everything, but they are not you. Please do remember this, everyone who is watching, that the voice that's telling you, no, you can't, you're not enough, you're not good enough for the gym is not going to change. The voice in your head is not you. So the first thing you can do is to dissociate yourself from the voice, because yeah, when it's going to take you to a good place, that's all right, but yeah, and it's yay. But when it's going to take you to kind of downhill or spiral down into that place, then that voice is not really you, because your higher self, your intuition, your the good side in you is always going to take you to a good place, not less. So that's my takeaway number one, is the voice in your head that's telling you all that kind of BS thing. That's not you. That's what Miss Sarah is telling us in here. The second thing, I think this is my takeaway, I'm learning in the process as well. My takeaway is the power of the one thing. The power, I always call it the power of the 0.0001. There is that little piece that you are going to do one day and keep doing. That's if a ship is leaving the plane from the port and keeps doing that, it's going to end up in a totally different continent. That's the power of 0.0001. So if we start now making like consistent daily progress, or one single action that is different, that is not in the comfort zone, we are definitely going to end up in a different place, for sure, a better place. But it's when we stay crippled not doing anything, of course we are going to end up with the same results. That's Einstein. He says if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that's the definition of
Crazy.
insanity, isn't it? So tell us about the power of that little thing. In this case, I suppose it was your friend picking you up and dropping you off. And this is my third takeaway now, which is the importance of having a partner, an accountability partner, somebody who is going to hold you to your result and who is not going to let you get away with it. He's going to put you on the hook and leave you there. Wasn't that? What do you say on this, Sarah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I didn't realize at the time what a good friend she was. She was always a good friend, and we'd met through our children, but I didn't realize until after I'd healed the depression, come out the other side, that actually she really helped me a lot, because she picked me up. She listened to me. I just used to talk negatively all the time, and she just listened and never gave me any negativity back, and helped me as and when she could. So yeah, somebody to reach out to, somebody to support you. I had the support of my family as well, and they were there all the time. But they weren't quite sure, they just kept reaching out to me, but weren't quite sure what I needed, because I didn't tell them what I needed, because I didn't know what I needed. So somebody that will reach out to you, but also somebody that you feel you could talk to as well, in a non-judgmental way, because it's great to be able to just offload all the negativity, and her to be not judgmental towards me. Although looking back now, I just felt the need to vent. But as I healed, I understood what part I played in that role as well. And then so I stopped the venting, because it's perpetuating the negativity. So once I'd realized that, I stopped doing that, and I enhanced the gratitude. Actually, thank you for taking me to the gym. Thank you for doing these classes with me.
Right. This is
Just
so good.
yeah,
That's
just the
amazing.
little things.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's always about the little things. She would take me to the gym. There would be green space outside. The sun would shine. The sky would be blue. There's a good cup of coffee. Somebody sent me a message. It's the little things. Just find the little things in life to appreciate. It doesn't have to be the big things. It really is the little.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, the other thing, when you talked about family, the importance of having a supportive circle, find those people who are going to support you. Very, very important. I was reading actually, where was my book? I was reading a very interesting book this morning, The Morning Miracle, and somewhere, and it's all highlighted and what, and it says some scary statistics where it says the average American is 20 pounds overweight, is 10, at least $10,000 in debt, and has less than, and it struck a chord, less than one person to communicate or relate to, or a
Yeah.
friend, uh, friend slash family around to go to in case we have something. Less than a person. I mean, what do you say, Sarah? Quite
I've
shocking, huh?
Yeah, I've read that too, and that's really sad that they don't feel that they've got anybody to reach out to, because most people have got two parents. So there's potentially two people, two friends they could reach out to. So to have less than one friend is really sad. It's about looking at who is in your friendship circle. And quite often we have a lot of acquaintances, but we don't have a lot of friends. So it's about building up one or two good friends that you can share your emotions with, and have positive feedback in a non-judgmental way.
Absolutely. The power of friendship, the power of happiness, the power of, happiness in the sense, the way it was, described in that study was happiness. People who lived longer and happier were the people, the only single predictor of a good, happy, long life was that they were always surrounded by people that,
Yeah.
they communicated with, they had some kind of emotional bonding with. And this is very, very important. Now, audience, hey, everyone who is in here, tell us about, do you have friends? Do you have more than two, three, four, five friends around? If not, it's high time we build more. Let's not let kind of the busyness and yeah, yeah, of life take us anywhere. So tell us about, how many friends do you have around that you can really, really, really go to and prevail on in. Yeah. Hey everyone, let's see some answers. I believe that little things are the ones that matter. I believe that too. Having a good friend who listens. Let's see. I believe that little things are the ones that matter. Let's see. Having a good friend who listens to you is a blessings and a bounty from Allah, from God. So powerful. I believe that as well. Muhammad Ibrahim. Right, Dr. Nabila, we should do something for ourselves. Always, you come first. You are number one. If you're good, if you're healthy, if you are in a good place, if you are happy, you like a lighthouse. You make everybody happy and glowing around you. Awesome, 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 awesome. I have two friends. I have two friends. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, Sarah, I always, 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 I have some, let's see, I have some good old friends who are positive minded and always there to support. Very, very good. Hang in there with them and hang on to them as well. Friends, very good to keep. Awesome. A lot of comments. Thank you, everyone. Keep them coming. Now, Sarah, something I always want to leave, uh, our audience with is takeaways, like kind of tangible. things, tips that they can implement right away to change some of the symptoms that perhaps they could be feeling, or even to prevent anything from happening, so we keep happier. Tell us about your holistic approach. Is there a little checklist that, and I know we've been taking notes all along the interview, but if we had to give our audience a checklist that they can start implementing right now, or maybe they can go over it, check in such a way they see where they need to put a little effort or to change something, because if we want our life to be different, we have to be willing to do something different right now, right here, right? It's not
Absolutely.
tomorrow. We don't have tomorrow. It's not next week. We don't
No,
have next week.
no,
Not next month. We don't have that either. Nor
no.
next year. All right. So, right now. So, we want something different. We have to start doing something different. We want our life. We want, and guess what? As Sarah earlier on was saying, results never lie. Results always tell a story. The results we have in our body, the symptoms showing and everything, they tell a story. Results in our relationships, results in our mental health, in everything, those always tell a story. And it's a true story. And we can start from there. If you say, oh, I don't really know, and what, look at your results. And where do you want to see improvement? Where do you want to see like a change? And that's exactly where that something different needs to happen. So tell us a little bit about holistic healing and a checklist for starting to do things differently, Sarah.
So one thing Eckhart Tolle says is there is only now. The past has gone, and the future, when it comes, will be more now moments. So be fully present in this moment. Use your senses. What can you see, hear, smell, touch, taste? Be fully in the now, because we're so busy that our mind is all over the place. What am I cooking for dinner? What's happening tomorrow? Where are the kids going? Be right here, right now, and fully present. If you're starting to feel a bit low of mood and energy, make a gratitude diary. So physically take a book or your own diary, and every day write 3 things in it that you have gratitude for. And again, it's only the little things. And by writing them down, you can look back at them and refer back to them. And meditate. And meditate, not the connotation of sit still, cross-legged and silence your mind, but be present. So do a walk-in meditation. What is around you? What can you smell, see, touch, hear whilst you're walking? When you're shopping, standing in a queue, who's in front of you, who's behind you? Tap into your senses and be fully present in the moment. And if all else fails and you feel overwhelmed, put your hands on your heart, take a deep breath, and tell yourself you're safe and that you love yourself. I love you. And just take that moment, because it brings you back to yourself, to who you are, and that there is love and that we can love ourselves, because a lot of people don't. And I find that really helps me when at times, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just literally stop, put my hands on my heart, take a deep breath and go, you're safe and I love you.
I love this. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was absolutely amazing. We have a comment here. Results are our inspiration when we feel unappreciated and underestimated. Yes, change comes A change can come from inspiration or a desperation. It can come from a place where you are inspired by somebody, and inspired meaning being in the spirit of it, in the spirit of it, in the spirit, inspired in the spirit, or desperation, meaning, and we don't have to hit rock bottom to start doing things for ourselves. You know, a few days ago, I decided there was a picture of my kids here just next to me. People used to see it, and then one day it dawned on me, and I said, you know, how about where is that inner child? Where is that me? And I went in there and I grabbed a picture of myself when I was a child, and I put it right here, and I said, you know what, and there's of course the picture of my kids here, and I said, that's somebody to take care of, you know, in the first place, to be honest, so as you can shine your light on everyone else. So if our cup is not full, we cannot fill anybody's cup, right? So this is so good. Self love, self appreciation can get us a long way into, you know, having ourselves kind of protected from all of these um, low energies, and all kinds of things coming from allowing certain thoughts and certain emotions to take control of our mind. Well, Sarah, I'll let you say the last the last message, if you have any words to share with our audience, and then we can wrap up. Is self-appreciation selfishness? This is a question coming from the audience. Is self-appreciation selfishness?
No, no. We need to look after ourselves, and we need to care for ourselves, and we need to appreciate ourselves. And how can that ever be selfish? Because we give to others. So why would it be selfish to give to ourselves?
Absolutely. I love it. I always say self care is selfless. Self care, your self care, your mental health, your emotional health, your well being, your physical well being, all of it, including your self care, including indulging in all kinds of self care. That feeling of taking care of yourself can never be replaced by anything else. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Yes, Noreen Khan is saying self-love is not at all selfishness. Absolutely. Miss Shahana Khan say, make a new goals, do something meaningful, be creative, and be positive. My takeaway from this wonderful session. Miss Shahana, you are absolutely awesome. Thank you very much for sharing notes with us. Miss Sarah, the floor is yours to take it from here, please.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your show, Nebila. It's been wonderful to speak to you and to speak to everybody else. I hope people have had some good takeaways. Some of the things that we've talked about, I hope it's helped some people. If anybody wants any help, they're more than welcome to reach out to me. My website is sarahdawkins.com, and all my social media platforms are on there, so you could reach me through there. If anybody needs any help, I'm more than happy to help out. And it's been my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure to have you, Sarah. We learned so much today. We reinforced some concepts that are so easy yet so forgotten and so overlooked. Heal Yourself, the book that is in the background in here, is available. I'm ordering my copy, so that's where you can find everything. Of course, Sarah has been generous with her time and her recommendation and advice and everything, and she shared some of what's in that beautiful book in there. But I'm sure you can read more in that book called Guérissez-vous in French, Heal Yourself in English, available in all languages, available on Amazon and other places. Thank you so much, Sarah. This has been very, very insightful. There's no such a thing as taking care of ourselves and of this vessel we are living in this life, for us to have a beautiful, happy life. I applaud each and every woman who's been attending this session either live or catching the replay. I know you are hanging in there, kind of trying to make things happen in your lives, trying to be happy, to succeed professionally, have a happy balanced life, beautiful kids who are going back to school this week, and trying to balance out all of these things may not be easy, but it's all in the trying. It's all in going that next level up, taking that one little step and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I so appreciate you, my friend. Have a great evening, everyone. And if there are any questions, we'll catch them and share Miss Sarah's wisdom with everyone. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.